Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome to another live stream with me, Grizzly K. Sorry, I'm trying to show you this picture because oh my goodness, I'll zoom in for you in a moment. Welcome to all my moderators, all my patrons. Hope you got the document that I've shared with you and the notification for this. And welcome also to all my members and subscribers. There's lots of new people subscribing, so welcome to all of you. If this is your first time here, my name is Grizzly K. I'm South African, living in the Netherlands, which is Holland. You guys might know it as Holland. And man, do I have a case for you. So this, let me just quickly see, it's this one. This case, oh my word. Let me just show you the lunatic. Look at this guy. It's unbelievable. It's it's not a murder case, but it is like a kidnapping case, abduction, and it seems like he's like a serial. Oh, it's difficult on YouTube to say the words. Sometimes you gotta censor it, but like an essayist. I mean, this guy's building a Cinderblock cell to put women in. It's very scary. I think he was on his way to becoming a serial killer at this rate. I mean, he's got so many different aliases. This happened in Oregon, which we'll look at as well on the map. He's got so many aliases. He's lived in 17 different cities in the last 10 years. They think that there's many other victims out there. So that's why I'm sharing this as well, so that if you have any information, if you recognize this guy's face, you had an experience with him, please call the FBI. All the links and numbers and everything are in the description box. Talks to Animal says, just because. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So what I've got for you today is I've been looking at this case. I've been snooping in on it a little bit. And I've just been waiting for some documents and just to see, okay, we need the things, right? We need the press conference, we need the documents, we need Maptime, we need to understand what's going on here. And now that I have everything, I decided to bring this to you. So what I wanted to show you with this picture was that I had here for you. Let me just go here again. This picture. Look at this guy. Look at this Cinderblock cell that he was building. Oh my gosh. Well, that he had built. And he called this Operation Takeover. And we're going to look at that as well, okay? So, Lori, it's so nice to see you. Lori Doodlebug Barnes says, I needed a break from true crime for a while, but I'm back. That's so nice to have you back. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Okay, thank you so much, Lori. Whoa, Kathy says, this monster lived in my hometown in Alabama a while back. Whoa, okay. So, what I'll do is just to get into it a little bit quickly, I'm going to read you. I actually want to read you. Let's just quickly see this. Let's just read this little overview and then we'll get into the probable cause affidavit. Okay, so let me just move myself to the side here quickly. Okay, wait, I just want to see. My screen looks very bright. My face is looking bright for you. Hold on. Okay. There we go. So, are we all here? Are we all ready? What a case. So, yes, as I say, if you have any information on this guy, of which he's got many names, we're going to go over some of the aliases as well. Please do call the tip line, because you just never know. It could actually save a life, or maybe we don't know what else he could have been up to based on his behavior. He's also a DV aggressor. He abused his wife and children. And he was arrested at a Wal-Mart, you guys. At a Wal-Mart. Thank you so much, Sweet Dreams. Like, oh man, okay. So let's go on here. If you guys are wondering, if you're new here, why is she saying Walmart like that? Well, in many true crime cases, we see Walmart pop up. I'm guessing that even though I don't accept sponsorships on this channel, I'm guessing that they won't ever sponsor me. Because they're like, oh no, she's mentioning Walmart again, true crime case. But it's always like, oh man, there's always Walmart somewhere involved, right? Okay, welcome. So, oh, my volume's a bit low? Really? Check, double check. Mic check. Let's try to turn it up a little more. How about this? How about now? How's my sound? How's my volume now? Because I've got it all the way up. I got it turned up, everyone. Yes, I've got the Yeti. We good? Okay, good. I'm not continuing until I know. Properties, yes, we're good. Okay, yeah, Wal-Mart. Mm-hmm. Sweet Dream says, just a little G, maybe buy Fury a toy. He's got so many toys. He's got a whole box full of toys. Oh my word, he's so spoiled. Okay, great. Cool. All right. So now the sound is good. And let's quickly look at this overview. So just so that you know what we're going to be doing today, we're going to go over this overview, the probable cause affidavit, the press conference, couple of video clips that I have for you guys as well. Everything. A little bit of map time. Okay. Well, yeah, just to see how far this guy drove. Tammy says, groetjes uit België. Oh, it's very similar to Dutch, actually, in Afrikaans, right? Thank you so much, Tammy. Really appreciate it. All right. So they say the FBI is searching for other possible victims in at least 10 states, authorities said, after a woman escaped a makeshift Cinderblock cell in Oregon where she was allegedly assaulted. The suspect, Negasi Zuberi, who, by the way, you guys, appeared on a Judge Judy episode. I'm telling you, man, this case is crazy. We got Wal-Mart, we got Judge Judy, we've got a Cinderblock cell, we got the serial dude all over the place using all kinds of names. What? Oh my word. So they say the suspect, Negasi Zuberi, 29, was arrested for interstate kidnapping on July 16th after a 45-minute standoff with law enforcement in a Wal-Mart parking lot in Reno, Nevada, after the victim had flagged down a passing motorist and called 911, according to a criminal complaint filed in federal court. Zuberi has lived in 10 states since 2016, including California, Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Utah, Florida, New York, New Jersey, Alabama, and Nevada. So you see what I mean? Maybe you know someone. Maybe you've encountered him or you know someone who has, and it's like, oh my word, you might look at them. There's a picture of him younger. He was also impersonating someone else on LinkedIn. The guy was all surprised, like, wait, what? So yeah, they say Zuberi has been linked to at least 4 essays in at least 4 states. We believe there may be more victims, said Stephanie Shark, the assistant special agent in charge of the FBI's Portland field office. On July 15th, Zuberi picked up the woman for prostitution services in Seattle, some 450 miles away from his home. That's what I want to show you on the map. Like, this guy drove far. He told his wife he's going to go to Seattle to go and look for more rental properties and things, and he drove so damn far to pick this victim. Okay, so on July 15th, he picked up the woman for services in Seattle, some 450 miles away from his home in Klamath Falls, Oregon, according to the complaint. He told the victim he was an undercover officer and forced her into his car using a black and yellow taser, handcuffed her arms, and put her legs in irons, the complaint said. She said she also saw a gun in the car. After driving for hours, I mean, she was like, where are we going? They drove for hours. Zuberi put a black sweatshirt over the victim's head and led her into the garage of his home where he had constructed a Cinderblock cell. The complaint said she was placed inside the cell, and Zuberi locked the door and left, saying he was going to do paperwork, according to the complaint. Now, look at the cell. I mean, this guy had a wife and 2 young children who he was also abusing. They've also, his ex-partner spoken out, and she got very emotional as well in an interview, and just like, this guy is a major abuser. She had no idea that there was a woman locked up in the cinder cell block, but this is just the overview of the story, right? He said the woman fought for her life, beating the doors and walls of the cell with bloodied hands, Shark said at the news conference. When police responded to the 911 call placed by the motorist who picked up the victim, they discovered a makeshift Cinderblock cell with a metal door and a single light bulb above for light in a residential garage, she said. Beth B says, Stephanie Shark, what a great name for an FBI agent, right? Imagine being an FBI agent and your name is Stephanie Shark. I think it's pretty cool. So they say after obtaining a search warrant, investigators found the victim's purse at the residence, drawings, notes, and a firearm box, matching the serial number and description of the gun the victim took from Zuberi's car. We're going to look at this whole timeline in the criminal complaint. But I just want to show you this because, yeah, you can see pictures of the cell. It's so scary. Right? I mean, this guy, I think his behavior was majorly escalating. And I don't know if he would have ever stopped this. And also, I mean, he could face life in prison if he's found guilty of the charges he faces. But I mean, I really hope he never is free again because that's a scary guy. Don't you think? Yeah, metal door and everything. sorry, for all, welcome to Grizzly supporter. Sorry, I try to put your comment on the screen, but sometimes YouTube doesn't want me to. Struggle. There's still glitches here and there. Okay, so look at it. Just this is a picture of it. They say the victim's focus, will, and determination triggered a law enforcement response that may have actually saved many other women from a similar nightmare, Shark said. I mean, she was so strong, so brave. That survival instinct. She was like, if I don't get myself out of here, I'm not going to make it. And she fought and fought and fought her way out of there. Sure, she's lucky also that she made it out, right? So now let's look at this criminal complaint. Sorry, I don't know if you don't want to see the guy, but I want to make sure that you see him in case anyone joins the stream late and they're like, wait, who are we talking about? We don't want this guy right here. And in case anyone recognizes him and can call the FBI, and the numbers that I've also put in the description box for you. J-Dog Gang, thank you so much for your sticker. I really appreciate it. Okay, so here they say, yeah, and this guy was everywhere. Am I at the top? Yes, okay. So introduction and agent background. I'm going to skip over that because you know how it goes. They just got to qualify who they are as they submit the affidavit, all right? They say, I submit this affidavit in support of a criminal complaint and arrest warrant for Negasi Zuberi, and now look, aka Justin Joshua Heish, Sakima Zuberi, and Justin Kouassi, date of birth 93, herein after Zuberi, for interstate kidnapping in violation of Title 18 United States Code, Section 1201. As set forth below, there's probable cause to believe, and I do believe, that Zuberi committed interstate kidnapping in violation of Title 21 United States Code, Section 1201. Now, you see all those names. I'm going to come back to this, okay? I want to show you something quickly. Look at this. Wait, it's not that one. No, wait. Where's the Judge Judy one? Is it this one? Look at this, you guys. This guy used that same name, one of the aliases we just saw, when he was on Judge Judy. Look at this.
In June of 2018.
18.
Well, I'd like you to tell me the exact. People who were assaulted usually know what date it is. Did you file a police report?
Yes, it was like June 18th.
Did you file a police report?
Yeah, I filed a police report, but I don't have that with me.
Why?
Because I called the police on her, and I was the one that was arrested.
Do you have the police report?
No, Your Honor, I don't have no police report.
You were arrested for what?
I guess for being attacked, but...
No, you weren't arrested for being attacked.
Your Honor...
Did you spend any time in jail?
A couple of...
Can you believe it? I'm just looking at it. And I'm like, this guy, I won't show you the whole thing. I might just link this because otherwise we'll be here forever. We've got a press conference to work through and lots of things. But can you believe that this guy was like, I was attacked? He's on Judge Judy saying he was attacked. He also said, I think his suits were attacked and covered in bleach. And oh my word. Paul Sr. said you can guarantee he has a questionable hard drive, right? J-Dog X says, I'm a victim's assistant here in Oregon and this POS is being looked at for several crimes. I can only imagine. Thank you so much for letting me know, and thank you for that sticker. Please keep me posted as well. I really hope whoever he's attacked, that they will get the justice that they deserve. And that they'll be brave to come forward because they've got the FBI, law enforcement, and all the Grizzlies. We got your back, okay? So let me just show you a little bit more of this.
What days, and I guess they...
Well, a couple of days is time. Did you have any medical treatment?
No.
Where were you injured?
In my head.
Tell me about the injury in your head.
She hit me in the head like 2 or 3 times with an alcohol bottle.
And you have a photograph of that.
They completely went on her side. They assumed that I assaulted her, and they didn't believe anything I said. But I have video footage of what actually occurred.
Of her hitting you?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
We love Judge Judy, right? I don't know. Not everyone does, but I really do, you guys. Do you? Okay, so here they say on the Judge Judy episode, Zuberi sued the mother of his children, Alicia Westfall, for throwing a glass bottle at him as well as damaging his suits with bleach. But he's the aggressor, you guys. Later, it's like, oh my word, when you hear about this 2020 charges and stuff, they say at the time of the episode, which originally aired in September of 2018, the two had been living separately and sharing custody of their sons. Westfall countersued Zuberi for smashing her cell phone and filing a false restraining order. The episode ended with Judge Judy ordering Westfall to pay Zuberi $2,500 in damages. Years later, the alleged kidnapper fled to Reno, Nevada. That's also where he was arrested. Yes, where he was arrested by state police one day after a woman who's not yet been identified escaped a Cinderblock prison he's claimed to have constructed and held her captive in. Okay, so now let's go back to where we were over here. Back to our document. Document time. Okay, so ASB says, I agree with Judge Judy 99.9% of the time. Yes. Most of you love Judge Judy, yes. Okay, so they say here, I just wanted to show you that because he actually used this name here on the Judge Judy show. He used one of his alias names on the Judge Judy show. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, so he's got all these different aliases. So if you even recognize the name, Negasi Zuberi, Justin Joshua Heish, or Heich, but I think they said Heish, Sakima Zuberi, and Justin Kowasi, right? Date of birth 93, for interstate kidnapping. We've read through that. So then they say applicable law. Title 18, United States Code, Section 1201, prohibits whoever unlawfully seizes, confines, veils, decoys, kidnaps, abducts, or carries away and holds for ransom or reward or otherwise any person and willfully transports in interstate or foreign commerce or travels in interstate or foreign commerce, uses the mail or any means, all these things. He did these things, right? He kidnapped someone from Seattle and took them to Oregon. Statement of probable cause. On July 15th, 2023, at approximately 12:01 a.m., Zuberi approached adult victim 1, AV1, in the vicinity of Aurora Avenue in Seattle, Washington, and solicited AV1 to engage in prostitution. At the completion of the sexual encounter, Zuberi claimed to be an undercover police officer and showed AV1 a badge. I mean, I'm telling you, this guy he's on his way to becoming a serial killer. I mean, he's 29 years old. Man, it's unbelievable that what he's doing is already bad enough. It's terrible. I'm just saying, like, John Wayne Gacy used to do this type of stuff. They are already comparing him, like saying, oh my word, this guy was like Dahmer and this guy was like Gacy, but he's not a killer. We don't know yet that he killed anyone, but he's a serial essayist, right? And kidnapper, apparently now too, building the Cinderblock cell. His behavior definitely has been escalating. Whoa, so here as well, it's like whips out a police badge. He shows AV1 a badge. Zuberi advised AV1 that he needed to take AV1 into custody to be processed. Zuberi pointed a black and yellow taser at AV1, placed AV1 in handcuffs and leg irons, and moved her into the back seat of his vehicle. AV1 observed a firearm inside Zuberi's vehicle. So that's all a big threat, like, oh crap, there's a firearm, he's got a taser. Okay, now we're going somewhere, right? Then, Zuberi transported AV1 south on Interstate 5, I-5, from the state of Washington into the state of Oregon. That's a long-ass drive, like 8 hours, okay? When AV1 inquired why the trip was taking so long, Zuberi replied that he was taking her to a substation. This guy. Like, I'm just taking you to a substation, okay? Wow. Ted Bundy also did this type of stuff, Anyway, moving on. I'm not trying to give him any more credit than he needs. I just mean as a serial killer, meaning if he thinks he's like this cool criminal. No, bro, no. But I'm so glad that he's been caught. I'm so glad that woman escaped, and that I really hope many more cases can be solved, that people will get justice and not be terrified of him still roaming around all over the country, living everywhere, right? So, they say, to continue. She was asking, why is the trip taking so long? Zuberi replied that he was taking her to a substation. AV1 observed the map application on Zuberi's cell phone state that Zuberi was 2 hours and 4 minutes away from his destination. AV1 knew at that point that Zuberi was not a police officer and that she was being kidnapped. During the trip, Zuberi pulled his vehicle over and forced AV1, now trigger warning guys. Okay, there was a trigger warning in the intro, but I'm just letting you know, it could be very distressing for some people, right? Trigger warning, it's talking about essay and all of that. Okay. So during the trip, he pulled over his vehicle and forced AV1 to perform both oral and vaginal sex. Zuberi attempted to have anal sex with AV1, but stopped after AV1 pleaded for him not to do it. AV1 was placed in the back of the car and Zuberi continued to travel south. At approximately 7 a.m. on July 15th, 2023, Zuberi pulled over at a truck stop north of Klamath Falls and placed a backwards hooded sweatshirt onto AV1 to cover her face. So that's now 7 in the morning. See, he met her around midnight, so now it's 7 a.m. He pulls over at a truck stop north of Klamath Falls, places a backwards hooded sweatshirt onto AV1 to cover her face. Then, Zuberi drove AV1 to his residence located at, 1336 North Eldorado Avenue, Klamath Falls, Oregon. Zuberi moved AV1 into a makeshift cell that he had constructed in his garage. The cell was made of cinder blocks and a metal door installed in reverse so it could not be opened from the inside. Oh my goodness. Tony Elliott says, I'm so glad we've got a case where someone lived. Oh, thank you, Tony. Okay. So, what we have then is they say the cell was made of cinder blocks and a metal door, yes, installed in reverse so it could not be opened from the inside. That reminds me of that Joseph Fritzl case. Do you guys remember that one? If you're an OG, I mean original Grizzly, those first 1,000 subscribers, especially you guys, you'll remember we covered the Joseph Fritzl case, and that this whole contraption, it just reminds me of that a little bit. Anyway, so they say AV1 was placed inside the cell and the door was locked. Zuberi claimed he had to leave to do paperwork. I mean, yeah, leaving to do paperwork? So much paperwork to do. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Okay. So then, they say AV1 briefly slept and awoke to the realization that she would likely die if she did not attempt to escape. AV1 repeatedly banged on the door and was able to break the door open and escape the room. Once outside of the cell, she observed Zuberi's vehicle parked in the garage, opened the vehicle door, observed the handgun, retrieved it, and fled. Smart. Very smart. They said her hands were bleeding from how much she was beating the door. AV1 sought assistance from a passing motorist who called 911. Also, shout out to that motorist, because sometimes if people are running down the street and, you know, screaming, some people might just be like, what the hell? And just like, I don't want to be involved, and off they go. But this motorist stopped, helped her, called 911. AV1 was transported to Sky Lakes Medical Center for SA nurse examination. Later that day, AV1 rode with law enforcement to identify the house where she was held captive. At the residence, officers located blood on the wooden fence that AV1 climbed over to escape her confinement. Law enforcement interviewed neighbors and Zuberi's wife, right, and searched law enforcement databases and ultimately determined that Zuberi was associated with the resident. Now, he was subletting all the rooms, apparently. And he had multiple places, I believe, properties he was connected to, and just like renting out the living room, one bedroom, the kitchen, this, like, this guy, oh my word, okay? I think his crimes actually stretch far and wide. So, they say law enforcement, yes, interviewed neighbors, Zuberi's wife, and all the neighbors from clips I've seen. They say he was so hot-headed, he was so combative, they could barely get on with him, they could barely talk to him, so there's that as well. They say AV1's physical description of Zuberi also matched the physical description the person registered to Zuberi's vehicle, the person described by neighbors and law enforcement records associated with Zuberi. On or about July 16, 2023, Klamath Falls Police Department obtained a search warrant for Zuberi's residence. Inside the garage of the residence, so this is obviously in Oregon, Klamath Falls, Oregon, inside the garage, law enforcement observed the makeshift cell described by AV1. So here they've also got a picture of it. Oh my gosh. Midwest Beanie says, I wouldn't stop if she had a firearm. I would call 911. Very safe plan. Very safe plan. Always stay safe. Yes. Calcification says, I hope this victim is surrounded with love and support right now. I really hope so. It must be absolutely traumatizing and terrifying. But she did such a good job of like everything she did. Like, I need to get out of here. I need to survive. Grab the gun. Run. Ask for help. And she may have saved many lives. You know, if you think about this guy's behavior and how it was escalating. So it does look like there's blood on the floor here. You're right. What a scary freaking cell. Oh my word. There's only shady intentions there, and I don't know what his plans. Maybe this would have been like a murder victim, you know? You just don't know. Now look at his notes. They say AV1's purse was located next to the makeshift cell in the garage. Inside Zuberi's residence, law enforcement also recovered a firearm box matching the serial number, make, and model of the firearm that AV1 retrieved from Zuberi's vehicle when she escaped, and documents, writings, mail, and bank statements identifying the residence as being occupied by Zuberi, and law enforcement also recovered the handwritten note shown below. I mean, you guys, look at this. Look at this crap. He literally wrote Operation Takeover. Oh my word. Operation Takeover. Look at the bullet points. Leave phone at home. Okay, so based on this, immature guy, IQ not very high. Operation Takeover. Leave phone at home. Make sure they don't have a bunch of people in their life. You don't want any type of investigation. He wrote this down. It almost looks like something Rex would write. Leave phone at home. Okay, make sure they don't have a bunch of people in their life. Whoa. Scary to see his notes though like this. This guy. Okay, and then here as well. He said, dig a hole straight down 100 feet. Look at his elaborate drawing. I don't even know what to call this. Look at his doodle. He literally... Someone said, no, he didn't. I know, right? No, he didn't. Yeah, he did. It's like concrete block, rubber coat, insulation, waterproof concrete. Okay. Wow. Dig a hole straight down 100 feet. Okay, then. Let me just quickly try and resize this for you. Just hold on 1 second. Okay. On or about July 16, 2023, law enforcement obtained cell phone data for the cell phones belonging to AV1 and Zuberi. GPS location data from these phones showed that AV1 and Zuberi were in Seattle, Washington on July 15, 2023, then traveling from Seattle, Washington to Klamath Falls, Oregon later that day. The afternoon of July 16, 2023, 2 Nevada State Patrol officers located Zuberi in a Wal-Mart parking lot. In a Wal-Mart parking lot on the south side of Reno, Nevada. Law enforcement observed Zuberi holding one of his children in the front seat of his vehicle. There was a 45-minute standoff here. So he was holding one of his children. You know how terrified his children must be. He was already abusing his wife and children, and in this situation, he was holding his children. Yeah, Copper Horse says, sounds like Buffalo Bill. Yeah, sounds like Buffalo Bill. Pernil said, looks like La T measuring for the window. I know, right? So here they say, there was this Walmart parking lot, 45-minute standoff. Law enforcement observed Zuberi holding one of his children in the front seat of his vehicle. Zuberi's wife was outside the vehicle speaking to him. When Zuberi was contacted by law enforcement, he refused to exit the vehicle and cut himself with a sharp object, causing him to bleed profusely. Oh my word, okay. Right, he also attempted to destroy his phone. Bro, they got more than your phone on you, okay? They found your Cinderblock cell and Operation Takeover. Zuberi eventually agreed to exit the vehicle and was taken into custody. The child was unharmed. Can you imagine that? He's holding onto his son. And he's busy cutting himself with a sharp object. He's busy trying to destroy his phone. And this whole thing took 45 minutes, right? That's right. Peter Pronto says, Walmart, always Walmart. So, that is what happened there. They say conclusion. Negasi Zuberi, a.k.a. Justin Joshua Heish, Sakima Zuberi, and Justin Kawasi, date of birth, 1993, year in after Zuberi, for interstate kidnapping in violation of the Title 18, United States Code 1201. I therefore request that the court issue a criminal complaint and arrest warrant for Negasi Zuberi. Prior to being submitted to the court, this affidavit, the accompanying complaint, the arrest warrant were all reviewed by the Assistant United States Attorney, John Brassel, and AUSA. Brassel advised me that in his opinion, the affidavit and complaint are legally and factually sufficient to establish probable cause to support the issuance of the requested criminal complaint and arrest warrant. Right, so that's what they have there. That's the criminal complaint that we've looked at now. All right, so, and here again is a picture of him. So if you recognize him, please contact the FBI. All the numbers and all the links and everything are in the description box below. And I will also quickly show you this. Let's just do this. So here they say FBI, Portland, seeking additional victims after woman escaped makeshift cell in Klamath Falls, Oregon. Okay. The FBI's Portland field office, let's say that again. The FBI's Portland field office is asking for the public's help in identifying potential victims of an alleged violent SA offender who has lived in at least 10 states. 29-year-old Negasi Zuberi, Sakima, Justin Heish, Justin Kawasi is in federal custody for interstate kidnapping after a Washington woman escaped his home in Klamath Falls, Oregon, claiming that she was kidnapped, essayed, and locked in a Cinderblock cell. We've read through about the court records, the victim telling them that he pointed a taser at her, placed her in handcuffs and leg irons, put in the back seat of the car. He then traveled traveled roughly 450 miles with the woman, essaying her during the trip. Okay? So, according to one victim, once he arrived at his home in Klamath Falls, Oregon, Zuberi moved her into a makeshift cell that he constructed into his garage. This is everything that we've just read. Okay, this is all from that criminal complaint. I'm just showing you from this site, which is fbi.gov, and it's got all the contact details here. All of this is in the description box, okay? And I will link this as well for you afterwards. They say, according to the complaint, this woman was kidnapped, chained, essayed, locked in a Cinderblock cell. Police say she beat the door with her hands until they were bloody in order to break free. Her quick thinking and will to survive may have saved other women from a similar nightmare. And I think worse. Yes, what kind of job history does this guy have? Says J.M. Dweller. I'm not sure what kind of job history is. I would like to know as well. That I haven't dug into yet. But I do know that whatever properties he was renting, he would rent out every single room and make money like that. And he wasn't allowed to. He was not allowed to do that. So they say, we are fortunate that this brave woman escaped and alerted authorities. Through quick law enforcement action, we were able to get Zuberi in custody the next day. While she may have helped protect future victims, sadly, we have now linked Zuberi to additional violent essays in at least 4 states already, okay? And there could be more. Zuberi's lived in 10 states over the last 10 years, and FBI investigators have reason to believe that there could be additional essay victims. The FBI's investigation has extended to multiple states where Zuberi previously resided between August 2016 and today. Those states could include California, Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Utah, Florida, New York, New Jersey, Alabama, Nevada. Whoa. Victims may know Zuberi by the name Sakima, and it's believed he may have used several different methods to gain control over his victims, including by drugging their drinks and impersonating a police officer. The victims are often threatened with retaliation if they notify the police. If you believe you've been a victim or have any information concerning Zuberi, Sakima, and all the other names, visit fbi.gov/Zuberi victims or call 1-800-CALL-FBI. You can also contact the FBI Portland field office at 503-224-4181. As I say, this is all in the description box. Your local FBI office, the nearest American embassy or consulate, or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. And then the FBI is acknowledging everyone who's helped out in this as well. They say the criminal complaint is only an accusation of a crime and the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So, Ray Tay says, I'm so glad this woman got away. I'm sure she's having such a hard time, but she should be proud of herself. She's literally a hero. I really think she saved lives. I think this guy, if he's never killed anyone, because this is very violent behavior, he was on his way. Okay, so we've got that. Now, what I want to show you next is the press conference. Let me quickly show you the map before we do that, okay? Just hold on. Sorry for that weird little bit of sound glitching there. That was my bad. Okay, so I just want to show you quickly how far he drove with her and how far he lived from where he drove. He told his wife, I'm going to go to Seattle to look for more rental properties. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, we're not flying this today. We're not flying it today, you guys. Yes, he's in custody. Okay. So, I believe he's still in custody, yes. So he drove all the way from Oregon to this Aurora Avenue in Seattle. So if we just zoom in here, somewhere around here. Okay, in Seattle. Let's just see what else has got here. We've got here the Lake Union. I've never been to Seattle. I'd love to go. But yes, here we are in Seattle. Picked up this lady. And then started driving. And I mean, whoa, they drove so far that eventually she's like, how far are we going? And she saw on his phone, on the maps, that there was still 2 hours and 4 minutes left to get to the destination. So they must have been driving already for like 6 hours or something. Because this whole drive, well, it's 7.5 hours. 7.5 hours. So like 5 hours later, she's like, oh my word, like seriously, where are you taking me? And they drove all the way, look there, like this, all the way down, past Portland, going past Eugene, Oregon, and all the way down here to this Klamath Falls area. Huh? It's unbelievable. It's so far. Ooh, Nana Banana says, I live right across the water from Seattle and take the ferry there often. Okay, so we've done the map time. Now what I'd like to show you is the press conference. So let's just go here, make sure the boost is on. Okay, and make it bigger for you. Right, let's make sure the sound is on. Okay, here we go, here we go.
Few speakers today, and just to remind you, this is an active investigation, so we will only take limited questions at the end. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Stephanie Shark. I'm an Assistant Special Agent in charge in FBI Portland. I am joined today by Assistant United States Attorney Nathan Levarchik, Klamath Falls Police Captain Rob Reynolds, and John Casalino, Assistant Attorney General for the Oregon Department of Justice. Although law enforcement daily combats violence and tragedy, some cases alarm even the most seasoned investigators, particularly when shocking details are revealed and we see that there may be multiple unknown victims. The case we are here to announce today, uncovered in Klamath Falls, Oregon, is that kind of case. And while the alleged perpetrator is already in federal custody, the disturbing evidence uncovered to date points to an individual's ongoing and escalating pattern of violence targeting women in multiple states throughout the country. When police responded to a 911 call in Klamath Falls, Oregon on July 15th, they discovered a makeshift Cinderblock cell with a metal door and a singular light bulb above for light in a residential garage, and a woman who bravely escaped her terrifying circumstances. Sadly, we believe there are more victims, as well as persons out there who might have vital information relevant to our ongoing investigation. We are seeking the public's assistance to help us spread the word about this case in the hopes of reaching all of those people. Let me tell you more about our subject. 29-year-old Negasi Zuberi is also known by several aliases. One is Sakima, another is Justin Haichi, and another Justin Kouassi. He is currently in federal custody for alleged interstate kidnapping after a Seattle woman escaped his home in Klamath Falls, more than 450 miles away from where she initially met him. Thereafter, she alleges she was kidnapped, shackled, sexually assaulted, and locked in this makeshift cell. According to the complaint, the woman fought for her life, beating the doors and the walls of this cell with bloodied hands. Through her perseverance, she broke free and waved down a passing motorist, asking for their help to call 911. The victim's focus, actions, and her will to survive triggered a law enforcement response that may have actually saved many other women from a similar nightmare.
And for that, she was incredibly brave, and I'm sure she saved many lives, right? I'm just quickly, just pausing for a second. Calcification says, what a terrifying 4-hour drive, but the whole drive was like 7.5 hours, right? Really far. And we're going to look at a clip after this. This is 16 minutes, this press conference. And then we're going to look after this at his, they say, ex-partner's interview. So she's going to speak, and we're going to look at what a neighbor also said. So just hang in there for that. If you're just joining now, we're looking at this crazy case of this serial essayist. Sorry, I have to sometimes with YouTube, you know. A serial essayist and now kidnapper and just a terrible person who's operated in 10 different states with many different names. So he's a real danger, in my opinion, to society based on what we know. And I really hope that many more victims, you know, can recognize, oh my word, that's the guy that attacked me, and come forward. There's already more that they've realized he has assaulted. So what I'm going to do is continue to play this press conference, and then we're going to look at those other clips. Okay, so we've looked at Maptime, we looked at the probable cause affidavit, we've looked at an overview of the case, and we've seen the Cinderblock cell, a picture of it. Now I'm going to continue to play this press conference. We've watched 4 minutes so far.
Through quick and decisive law enforcement action across many local, state, and federal agencies, we were able to get Zuberi into custody in Reno, Nevada the following day. Klamath Falls Police Captain Rob Reynolds will now speak more about what happened that weekend in July, how the victim escaped, and the impact to his community.
Good morning. Again, my name is Captain Rob Reynolds. I'm with the Klamath Falls Police Department. On the day in question, our investigators had made contact with the victim, and what happened was we learned that she was from Seattle, Washington, and that she had been abducted up there. The suspect had transported her down to Klamath Falls, Oregon, which is probably about a 7-hour drive from Seattle, give or take. And during that time, she was also sexually assaulted. Also during that time, she was taken to a residence in Klamath Falls, Oregon, where there was a makeshift cell, if you will, and he had actually locked her in there for a couple hours at least until she realized that she needed to get out of that residence because her life was in danger. And she took the substantial steps to force her way out of that cell, and then she ran out into public, flagged down the first vehicle she could find, and then she was taken to safety. Then 911 was called, and then we responded to help her. We learned that what happened during that time, planes. During that time, the officers learned that she had gone through quite a great ordeal. There's potential of additional victims out there. We're asking today for people to come forward that might had contact with Mr. Zuberi during contact. Obviously not just in our jurisdiction, but from all over the country, wherever he lived previously. We do know that it's an active investigation. We can't say too much, but what we like to say is that the victim, if she didn't do what she did, we wouldn't be here today, and Mrs. Zuberi would not be in custody. So I want to personally thank her for her bravery of what she did to get through that ordeal and get to where she needed to be today. We do want to also let you know that there are also victim services that the FBI is going to be providing on their website, and that information will be provided to you shortly, and that we want to make sure that any additional victims come forward, that those services are going to be provided to them and they're going to be taken care of. With that.
Thank you, Captain. The FBI and our partners, to include Oregon State Police, acted quickly and were able to safely track down Mr. Zuberi within hours of his efforts to evade law enforcement. Our partners at the Reno Police Department, Nevada State Police, and Las Vegas FBI safely captured him after a 45-minute standoff in a public parking lot at a major shopping center in Nevada with no injuries to themselves or others. Assistant United States Attorney Nate Levarchek will now discuss any prosecutorial actions in this case.
Good morning. My name is Nate Levarchek from the U.S. Attorney's Office. I'm an assistant U.S. attorney here in Oregon, and I'm the branch chief who supervises our Eugene and Medford offices.
Quick pause. Do you guys remember that case from Excelsior Springs of that Timothy Haslett Jr., where a woman also escaped, and it was also like a dungeon thing that he'd built and all of that? Do you remember that case? They've now apparently found a blue barrel that they say is similar to the barrels that saw at that suspect's home. And that was also like just a kidnapping case, you know what I mean? I'm not producing kidnapping by any means. Kidnapping essay is absolutely terrible. But there also, we suspect it could be a serial killer. Now they found some blue barrel. But my point is, remember that one as well. This just reminds me of that a little bit as well. Anonymous says, mad respect for this victim and her bravery. 100 hero. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anonymous. Yeah, keep him locked. And I really hope that victims will feel safe enough to come forward, and tell their story. Because I hope he'll never get out, based on what we know.
Add to what's already been said, on July 17th, we obtained a federal criminal complaint charging Mr. Zuberi with 1 count of interstate kidnapping. That charge carries with it a maximum sentence of up to life in federal prison. The court recently unsealed that criminal complaint, which lays out the probable cause supporting the charge. I do want to note that that is a charge, and just that. It's an accusation of a crime, and Mr. Zuberi is presumed innocent until he's proven guilty. After law enforcement arrested him in Nevada, he appeared in federal court there in front of a judge on July 26th, and that judge in Reno ordered him detained pending his transfer to Oregon. The U.S. Marshals Service is now in the process of bringing him back to Oregon to face the kidnapping charge, and we anticipate that he'll appear in federal court in Medford, Oregon, in the coming weeks. At that hearing, our office will seek his continued detention and argue that he is a flight risk and a danger to the community. This is an ongoing investigation. I'm not able to offer any more than that, but what I do want to offer is my compliments and the collaboration and the efforts of our federal, state, and local partners, including FBI, the Klamath Falls Police Department, Klamath County District Attorney's Office, Oregon State Police, Reno Police Department, and the Washoe County, Nevada District Attorney's Office, who all moved quickly and in coordination with each other to apprehend Mr. Zuberi. So with that, I'll hand it back to FBI ASAC Stephanie Shark. Thank you.
Thank you. Our investigation has continued vigorously over the past 2 weeks since Zuberi's arrest, extending into multiple states where he resided from August 2016 and to the present. Those states include Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, New York, New Jersey, Alabama, and Florida. To date, Zuberi has been linked to at least 4 sexual assaults in 4 other states. We believe there may be more victims. Victims may know Zuberi by the name Sakima, and it is believed he may have used several different methods to gain control of his victims, to include drugging their drinks and impersonating a law enforcement officer. Today, the FBI has launched a Seeking Victims website to help us identify potential victims. If you believe you or someone you know has been a victim of or has any information about Zuberi, please visit the website fbi.gov/Sakima victims or call 1-800-CALL-FBI. At this time, I would like to turn it over to my colleague from the Oregon Attorney General's office for a few comments.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John Castellino, and I'm Assistant Attorney General with the Oregon Department of Justice. Currently, the Klamath County District Attorney's Office is being managed by Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum, and I am managing it on her behalf. I'm thankful for the swift action of our federal partners. I'm also thankful for the directed and precise action of law enforcement in Klamath County. And it's our hope in this press conference today that you can help us identify additional victims who may have suffered similar fates to the victim in the federal case.
Thank you. Finally, I want to thank the brave women who fought for their lives to get us where we are here today. Now, it is our turn to take their burden and fight for them, any other victims out there, and seek justice. Thank you. At this time, we will take just a few questions.
So as far as sexual assaults, what states are those occurring? That happen here in Oregon, California, what states?
Aside from the one that we're discussing here in Oregon, because those are active investigations, we're not going to name the states at the time. I'm sorry.
How long was the victim held in the cell before she escaped?
The victim was held in the cell a few hours before she escaped.
Speaking of that cell, obviously it appears it's not hidden.
It's in this garage. So what role, if any, did his wife play in this? Was she aware of what was going on?
Due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, we can't go into those details. We're still uncovering a lot of them.
Nobody else is charged at this point, though?
Not at this point, no.
How is the victim doing? Have you heard anything about her condition?
The victim is strong and courageous, and right now she is physically okay. And we are working with her through our Victim Services Department to make sure that she has whatever resources she needs to continue to be resilient.
Have you already identified other victims at this time?
Just the 4 that I mentioned, but we will not go into their names or locations right now.
Have there been charges in those other 4 assaults?
Not at this time.
Who was the person that she flagged down when she managed to escape?
We are not releasing that information right
Can you
now.
talk about the injuries she sustained while trying to break out of this cell?
Sure. For that, I'm going to defer to my colleague from the Klamath Falls Police Department.
So the victim, when she was trying to escape the cell itself, she had repeatedly punched it with her own hands, and she had several lacerations along her knuckles from doing so.
Do you know how long it took for her to escape?
That I don't know.
How was she able to get out? Was it locked? How was she?
It was locked. Again, because of her ability and her survival mindset, this was a screen door. She punched it several times to break the welds, ripped the screen down, and she crawled through a small space to get out of that place because she knew something bad was going to happen to her.
Is Zuberi from Oregon or a different part of the country?
That I don't know, and I'd have to refer to my colleagues here.
He's from all over.
It is not believed he is from Oregon. He has only been in the state a few months at this time.
Does he have a job? Does he do anything for work to make money?
We're going to let you guys do your investigation into that. We're not going to release any of those details.
Do you know if his wife or children were home at the time this woman was placed in the cell?
I cannot.
Do you have an estimate on how many other victims there might be?
Unfortunately, we do not. And our concern is based off of the information that has been made public in the complaint and released, that there is escalation of violence and intent. And so we are concerned that if we work backwards, we're going to find, unfortunately, numerous victims, which is why we are actually seeking your guys' help to do that. We do not know. This is one of those cases where, again, a lot of times we'll get a case and we'll think it is what it is on its face. And the more we look into this case, the more we can become concerned as law enforcement that there may be more that we're missing. And so that's why right now we are still at the infancy stages of the investigation. We can't answer a lot of questions, and we really want to seek the assistance from victims, because that's what's really important here, is making sure that anybody else who may have information to help us knows how to get in touch with us. So please pass along the website.
Last question. Any indication that this suspect is tied to the other 2 women that were found dead in the Portland area that have not been attached to the other serial killer that's under investigation?
Oh, at this time there is absolutely no information to indicate any links between these matters.
Where will he be tried? You mentioned Medford.
I mean, at this time, his charges will be in Medford, but we'll have to see where this investigation goes. We're still in the very early stages, and we appreciate all of you guys taking time out of your day to come here and help us with this. Thank you so much.
And that's it for the press conference. I'm looking the whole time to find out what kind of job did this guy do. I know he rented out a bunch of properties, but what did he do? Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's now... Oh, sorry, that's very bright. Just give me 1 second, please. I'm quickly going to get the next clip for you. Someone in the chat was saying you could send me a video. Are you talking about the interview with his ex-partner, as they say? I'm going to show you that. So they say exclusive. Ex-partner of accused Oregon kidnapper denies FBI allegations. Okay, so let's just quickly go here. Go like this. I'm keeping his picture there in case anyone recognizes him, okay?
Presented by the FBI against the father of her.
Damn, that's too quiet, guys. Let's boost it. Okay. I hope the sound gets better, my word. Okay, let's listen.
Children, and claims she has no idea the alleged kidnapping took place. Negasi Zuberi has made national headlines after the FBI in Portland alleged he kidnapped a woman in Seattle, sexually assaulted her, drove her to Klamath Falls, and imprisoned her in this makeshift Cinderblock cell. The FBI says the kidnapping happened in the early hours of Saturday, July 15th. Zuberi's ex-partner says she didn't hear or see anything that night, and that Zuberi told her he was going to Seattle to look at potential rental properties.
So the FBI is alleging all of this happened on July 15th, that Negasi brought a woman that he kidnapped in Seattle here and imprisoned her. What did you see that day?
Honestly, I went to bed like on Friday night. I was watching TV. I fell asleep on the couch, and then I woke up. I went, to the room, and I fell asleep. And then I noticed that he came home, and then he came to the room, and then I was kind of surprised. I was like, "Oh, you're back already?" And then he left, and then I was like, "I'm going back to sleep." So I went back to sleep, and then my kids were in the room, and then I woke up around like maybe 9 o'clock, and then I just asked him for the car key so I can go to Walmart, and then I went to Walmart and came back, and then me and my kids were planning just to go to swimming and stuff. So we didn't get to do that because after everything was going on.
Zuberi's ex-partner says she didn't hear any commotion that night, even though the FBI claims the kidnapping victim escaped from the makeshift cell in the garage by banging so hard on a metal door that she broke through it and ran away on foot. She later flagged down a passing driver for help.
So for anyone who's feeling lost, this is his wife that they're talking to, and she said she didn't hear anything, even when the lady was banging on the doors and escaping and all of that. So we're just hearing from her a little bit of the timeline.
Was rushed to the hospital and led authorities to Zuberi's home. When Zuberi's ex-partner returned home from Walmart, law enforcement had already arrived and were questioning a person who sublet a room in the house from them. She says that same person alerted Zuberi to what was happening and found out he had already left town. The woman tells me she met up with Zuberi the next day in Nevada after he asked her to meet him on the road.
He told me he was gonna go to Alabama and then wait until everything settled down to see what's going on.
After they met up, the FBI found the couple outside a Wal-Mart in Reno and arrested Zuberi following a long standoff where agents say he cut himself severely while holding one of his children on his lap and tried to destroy his phone. Zuberi's ex-partner wouldn't share many details about the arrest, other than it was a shock to her and the children, who later made their way back to Klamath Falls on a bus. That same day, Klamath Falls police served a search warrant where they discovered what appears to be a makeshift Cinderblock cell. Zuberi's ex-partner claims this is a misunderstanding.
This Cinderblock structure in the wall, or in the garage.
Yes, it's a room. It's not a Cinderblock. It's a room. They keep saying it's a Cinderblock. It's a room. He's just trying to expand.
So you're saying he's building out a room. The FBI is saying it was a makeshift prison cell.
That's a lie. It's a lie. He never, ever, like everywhere I know him, like he never, ever brings something build something like that. All this man is doing is trying to expand subleasing.
Law enforcement also discovered these disturbing notes.
Damn, so I wonder how long he's been expanding for subleasing. You see? She said all he's trying to do was expand for subleasing, but then unfortunately there's Operation Takeover, which we looked at before, which is leave phone at home, make sure they don't have a bunch of people in their life, you don't want any type of investigation. Well, sir, you sure got a type of investigation now. Lieutenant Peter Pronzo, Harlem Raider, says mental eval for him when he and his defense attorney will look for a lack of mental capacity. Law enforcement and prosecution will not accept it. Right?
They allege were written by Zuberi, one page titled Operation Takeover. His ex-partner wouldn't comment specifically on the notes, but says she could never imagine the kidnapping and imprisonment that the FBI alleges took place.
One thing I know, he will never bring nobody to his home where his own kids live, sleep, where he got tenants coming in and out, like his garage right here, wide open.
Zuberi's ex-partner at one point showed us what was in the garage. We didn't see much other than some foam insulation. She told us the structure the FBI alleges was a makeshift prison cell has since been taken down. Through tears, she tells us regardless of what the court proceeded.
He helped my kids. He helped me when I need help. He even helped me apply for school. He helped me apply for FAFSA. He helped me get to my feet. Even we didn't get along, but he always helping me. It is sad that he's been accused because that's not who he is. That's not who I had kids with. This is not what the guy that they portray him to be. This is not his legacy. This
Shame. She is in a lot of denial, which we've seen a lot in these cases, right? Oh my goodness, because this guy just expanding. Like, did you see what that little cell looks like? Oh no, he wasn't just expanding, and even if he was just expanding, who the hell's gonna live in there? Just like this random little prison cell in the middle of the garage. Oh my goodness. Objection Cake says, so, subletting a room with a backwards door that locks from the outside? Yup. Thank you so much, Objection Cake.
men have dream.
On July 26th, Negasi Zuberi made his first appearance in front of a federal judge in Nevada. He remains in custody and will be extradited to Oregon, where he will appear in federal court. In Klamath Falls, Adrian Thomas, Fox 12 Oregon.
Thank you, Adrian Thomas. Okay, so then I want to show you this other clip as well, which is this one, where they say former neighbor says man accused of Oregon kidnapping threatened him. Denise Parker said she knows something. I mean, she does sound like she's in deep denial. There's other documents and, you know, things, not documents, sorry. There are, I don't have those documents, but they say there's other documents alleging that he had like DV charges from 2020 and he was abusive to his wife and his children. And so she's probably also terrified of him. So we got to keep that in mind as well. If he is, of course, I mean, we already know what he's accused of doing to other women, but apparently he abused his wife and children as well. So, you know, sometimes victims of DV are also terrified of the aggressor. So to say, no, he's fine, everything's great, like he would never do this and all of that, just in case he gets out, you might, that's maybe also why she's saying things. Just keep it in mind. So yeah, Denise says she knows something. Maybe she does, and maybe she's very, very scared of him. Okay, so now let's look at this one from the neighbor. Here they say this.
22 to spring 2023. Neighbors tell us they had a bad feeling about the 29-year-old, and that includes Danny Bratzkoff.
He did make some threats towards me that he was going to stab me or kill me if he catches me outside somewhere. Get off my...
There's a red flag. That's what I'm saying. This guy was either on his way to be a killer or we just don't know. Was he already one? It sounds very hectic, right? Thank you so much all for being here as we discuss this case. I really hope that this will help some people be able to recognize him, to be like, oh my word, I need to report this guy, I need to call in, because they've already connected him to 4 other victims. So please do like and share. You can use the hashtag as his name is spelled, Negasi Zuberi. It's in the title as well. Or hashtag Oregon, Grizzly to Crime. All of those could be helpful. And all the numbers and everything to call are in the description box. Okay, so let's have a look at this.
My property. Get off my property.
Bratzkoff says this cell phone video he shot is proof of Zuberi's bizarre behavior.
That night that he was yelling at me, he literally looked like a killer. Literally, his eyes were just, it was actually scary.
I stayed away because I knew he was a hothead.
This woman did not want to share her name, but she also lived near Zuberi. She wasn't aware of what he did for a living, only that he made some cash by breeding and selling pit bulls, about 10 of them, and subleasing space.
I forgot about the pit bulls. He made money in all. He was hustling, okay? He was not only subletting out lots of rooms. They said even the, I think they're going to say now, even the kitchen, the living room, every little room. That's maybe why his wife was like, or ex-partner said, well, he was just expanding, because that's what he did. The more people, the better, to get money from, while paying his one-time rent, he's just subletting everything out. That, and then breeding pit bulls, there's that as well. So many things that he was doing, right? And who knows if he was like involved in, for example, something like, and here comes a YouTube trigger word, trafficking, something like that. Scary, scary thought. Okay, let's continue.
Space in his house.
Like he was subleasing every single space that you could possibly, like literally the living room, I think they had like a little open area when you come up the stairs, kind of like a loft area. He was subleasing that. There were beds there. Like it was weird. There was a lot of different people.
While it may have been weird, it pales in comparison to what the FBI revealed about Zuberi on Wednesday. Federal agents say in mid-July he solicited a woman for sex in Seattle, then told her he was an undercover cop and she was under arrest. Zuberi then shackled the woman and drove her 450 miles south to his new home in Klamath Falls, sexually assaulting her along the way. Inside the garage of this home Zuberi was renting from the mayor of Klamath Falls, of all people. He's accused.
Oh my word, I'm so glad we're watching this clip again. When I watched it the first time, I'm like, what? There we must show you guys this. Renting it from the mayor, this property, and then building all kinds of weird things in here and just subletting it out. I mean, what? Did you hear that? He's 29 years old, by the way, 29.
Accused of locking the woman up in a Cinderblock cell.
The woman fought for her life, beating the doors and the walls of this cell with bloodied hands. Through her perseverance, she broke free and waved down a passing motorist.
Within hours of the woman's daring escape, police captured Zuberi in Nevada, one of the 10 states he's called home in the last 10 years. And since his arrest, detectives have tied Zuberi to 3 more sexual assaults in 3 of those states, and they fear there could be even more victims. And perhaps that explains why the FBI paid Bratskoff and his roommates a visit earlier this week.
There was multiple victims. There was multiple girls that they showed pictures of to us, and they were asking us if we knew about these people or these girls. We obviously didn't know any of them.
What Bratskoff and other neighbors do recall is seeing a young woman crying outside Zuberi's Vancouver home months ago when he still lived there.
My husband's like, do you want us to call the cops? Like, do you need help? Do you want some tea? Like, it's freezing out here. And she's like, no, I'm not going to tell you what he did to me. She said those exact words.
Words that now haunt Zuberi's old neighbors, who are relieved he's off the streets and behind bars.
So I'm so happy that he's gone, and hopefully it's going to be for a while.
It's worth mentioning I did speak to a sergeant with the Clark County Sheriff's Office, and he tells me in the time that Negasi Zuberi lived in the area, deputies did respond to his house a number of times for things like noise complaints, welfare checks, and neighbor disputes involving...
See, deputies responded to the house multiple... He was a red flag all the time. It's just like, damn, nobody suspected he was up to what he was up to, basically. Kerry said, is this another wife? I believe the one on Judge Judy was another wife. Yes, I think that was an ex-wife. From my understanding, you say the Judge Judy episode wives sounded different, and so he may have kids and partners, ex in several areas. He could. And yes, someone asked, did he make it to the East Coast? Yes, he's been in Florida too, and New York and everything. This guy's been everywhere. There could be so many victims. I think this case is going to be huge. I'm so glad that they've caught him. This is terrible. So, okay, let's just finish this.
Zuberi and the people he lived with and others, but nothing ever rose to a criminal level, and there were no arrests. I'm Mike Benner for...
Right, okay. Sure, I don't know. This case, like, it feels very stressful, right? Is it stressing you out? Are you good? please share it so that the word can get out. I really hope that, that it can help them tie him to as many victims as he... attacked, so they can all get justice, right? Hope and Fear says, oh my word, G, deep dive, please. What are we deep diving? We're deep diving this. We're doing it. We've done Maptime. We've done the probable cause affidavit. Looked at the press conference. We've looked at all these little clips and things. Let's just see. We looked at the FBI site as well. I just want to see if there's one other thing here. Let's go over this quickly again, which is this one for the Judge Judy, just from the New York Post, where they summarized it for us. Okay. Just want to make a nice size for you. Okay, there we go. I'm just keeping his picture up there, as I say, in case you recognize him. You or anyone you know, and you can call it in, because you just never know if it can help. Okay, so they say Oregon man accused of locking woman in makeshift cell appeared on Judge Judy using an alias, right? I won't be much longer. I just wanted to get the story out to you. I think it's really important to share. So they say the diabolical Oregon man who allegedly held a sex worker captive in a makeshift jail cell in his garage appeared on an episode Judge Judy alongside the wife he's been accused of beating and tormenting. So that's what I mean. She sounds different, but I don't know. Maybe it is the same lady. They said ex-partner, but she was living with him and he's defending him. It's very, I don't know. Is that why you're saying deep dive? I also want to know. What if he has multiple partners? We don't know that either. Oh my word. What if he lived like not just double lives, but triple, quadruple lives? So they say Negasi Zuberi 29 appeared on the hit daytime courtroom show under the name Justin Hythe, one of the 10 aliases the alleged creep has used in the past. I like all these words they're using. The diabolical and alleged creep. Ah, that's right. Zuberi sued Alicia Westfall, the mother of his 2 children, living at his Klamath Falls, Oregon home, following a domestic dispute and for damaging his suits with bleach. At the time of the airing on September September 2019, the couple had been separated and shared custody of their sons when Westfall showed up at his residence demanding that he return their children because he was drunk. So I think it's the same. Is it the same one or multiple? This is very confusing. I'm also trying to figure this one out. As a screaming match ensues, Westfall slapped the phone from Zuberi in the hallway of his apartment building as he holds one of their children. He later flees to the street as the distraught mother follows and throws a glass bottle at him. Okay, so there he is. Here's Judge Judy. Damn, Judge Judy. She saw this guy in person, yeah. Westfall countersued Zuberi in the episode for filing a false restraining order and smashing her cell phone, but lost. The no-nonsense judge, whose name is Judith Schindlin, we just know as Judge Judy, okay. She wasn't buying Westfall's claims and ordered the mother to pay Zuberi $2,500 in damages. Zuberi has... Wow, this is so hectic in hindsight, oh my word. Zuberi has made home in 10 states, including California, Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Utah, Florida, New York, New Jersey, Alabama, and Nevada in the last 10 years. The FBI claimed that Zuberi used multiple aliases during the period, one recurring name being Sakima and Justin Kawasi, to commit similar sinister acts to other victims. Nearly 4 years after the episode aired, Zuberi is jailed for kidnapping and essaying a woman that is held captive in a makeshift Cinderblock cell in his garage. Zuberi traveled roughly 450 miles. Now the rest we all know what he did, right? We went over that. Whoo, look at this guy. He was located in Reno, Nevada on July 16th in the Wal-Mart parking lot about 250 miles from his home. Like, he sure fled. He went quite far, huh? And surrendered after a 45-minute standoff with police, according to the FBI. The predator had also viciously attacked Westfall, you see there, in July of 2020, less than 2 years after they both appeared on Judge Judy. So there, they say viciously attacked, and here they go, during the couple's time living in Antioch, California with their kids, who were both under 5 at the time, Zuberi traumatized both Westfall and the children, according to court papers. He screams at the kids and me, threatens me verbally, financially, and mentally abusive to all of us, Westfall alleged in the request for a protective order in 2020. See what I'm saying? She could be terrified of him. So she's like, oh, this is not the guy I know. He helps me with everything. He's so nice, whatever. She might be absolutely terrified. A judge granted Westfall's temporary restraining order request and ordered Zuberi to stay at least 100 yards away from her and the children. The order was dismissed and the case was taken off the court calendar on September 14, 2020 for reasons which weren't recorded. Zuberi was taken to the Washoe County Jail in Reno and faces life in prison if convicted on interstate kidnapping charges. Right, so we've gone over that. I just want to see if there's any one more thing. I think that's it. Yep. Oh, yeah, look here. Sicko, who chained sex worker in Cinderblock, beat his wife, threatened to kill her and the kids. You see? Yeah, exactly, Kerry. Coercive control. Kerry R says violence in relationship, coercive. Thank you for censoring that as well. I really appreciate it. Coercive and physical, mentally. All the red flags of a DV aggressor, of coercive control, and I mean, whoa, of a sexual predator, someone really sinister, sadistic, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, so here they say the predator who allegedly held a woman captive in a makeshift Cinderblock cell in his Oregon home had a history of beating his wife and threatening to kill both her and their 2 young children. He's a huge red flag. Oh my word. Imagine if it turns out that he's actually a killer or a serial killer. Now, we don't have any such, that was a pure speculation. We have no such evidence at all, and it's already bad enough. It's terrible that he's a serial essayist. I mean, who knows what else he's been up to? He's 29 years old, and who knows at what age he started all of this, right? Okay, sorry, I'm just checking here. So, they say, if you guys have any information about this, please email it to me as well. I would really appreciate to keep digging a little bit here and be like, wait, what? So, they say, Negasi Zuberi had attacked his wife so viciously in July of 2020 at a previous home in Antioch, California. The kids, who were both under 5, became traumatized, according to the documents. He screams at the kids and me, threatens me verbally, financially, mentally abusive to all of us, said his wife, Alicia Westfall, alleged in the request for protective order. We get waken up every night from him being drunk and loud and scares us. He's hit me many times, so trigger warning, sorry. If you've survived DV, I hope that this is not triggering for you. He has hit me many times. He takes my phone so I can't call the cops. He takes my money so I can't have any way to do anything. Transfers my money to his own account. He caused me to be stressed and my kids every day scared. coercive control, domestic violence, absolutely. Westfall added their 2 sons, 2 and 4 years old at the time, also witnessed Zuberi break windows, the TV, and bottles as he made threats against their lives. Oh, this one. Okay, Kerry says, someone mentioned the mayor is called Westfall, same as the wife. Could they be related, and why he bought the property? That is so hectic. I wonder. I was wondering what you're saying there, but wait, I'm like, wait, what? Very interesting. That's an interesting one. Shall we go down that rabbit hole sometime? Right? Okay, so you see the history is there. When she tried to call the police, Westfall said Zuberi just beat her more. And there's the evidence of why she's saying, he's a great man, he's so awesome. Like, I don't know, man, this is not the guy. He helped me with everything. We've seen that. You know, we even saw it with Gabby Petito. She's like, I'm so sorry, it was me, I hit him, I don't know, like everything's fine, it's just a bad day, it's my fault. Remember? Oh man, unfortunately, the more we study these DV cases, I know there's lots of DV survivors in our chat as well, sending lots of love to you. The more we study these cases, the more patterns we see, right? A judge granted Westfall's temporary restraining order request and ordered Zuberi to stay at least 100 yards away from her and her children. However, the order was dismissed and the case was taken off the court calendar. Police started looking for Zuberi in July after he'd apparently kidnapped and essayed a sex worker. That's everything we just went over, right? Here's a picture of him when he was younger. So I'm showing you this as well because if you recognize it, maybe you don't know him like this, but maybe you know him like this. Please call the tip line. It's in the description box for you. You can call the FBI. You can also submit the tip anonymously. Just report anything that you know about him because it could really help the case because this is now nationwide. He's been all over the country. 10 different states. How many different? They said, wait. 17 different cities. Portland, Vancouver, Las Vegas, Denver, Northport, Chicago, Bronx. All kinds, okay? And he's also linked to at least 4 victims already now. And he used many different aliases. We already read through 4 of them as well. Okay. Maria Flores says, don't quote me on this. I've seen a man that looks like him in Victorville. He's off in 7th Street. I'm hoping this man gets caught soon. Damn. That looks like him, but not him. Well, when was that? When? Yeah, he's got very distinctive features to identify him, says someone. All right, he's in custody, you guys. He is in custody. They say Zuberi will be extradited to Oregon, but that could take several weeks, authorities said. So he's going to be extradited to Oregon. The FBI's Portland field office said the woman who was trapped at the makeshift Cinderblock prison was able to beat the cell door with her hands until they were bloody, successfully breaking it open. She ran down the street and managed to flag a motorist for help. According to the complaint, the woman was kidnapped, chained, essayed, and locked in a Cinderblock cell. Stephanie Shark, who had a shark necklace on. That was pretty cool. The assistant special agent in charge said in a statement, her quick thinking and will to survive may have saved, it did. We know it did, right, guys? It saved other women from a similar nightmare or worse. So hectic. So very hectic. Someone said the Bronx, I'm only a boroughs away. Yes. I wrote down a whole bunch of cities that he's been in. Portland, Vancouver, Las Vegas, Denver, Northport, Chicago, the Bronx. He's lived mostly in... hope I'm saying this right, Tuscaloosa, California, and Alabama. That's where he spent most of his time in his life. Okay. Westfall's father, who did not want to use his name, told the Post he was shocked at the allegations and unaware what his daughter and Zuberi did to support themselves. Again, here's the cell. So, that's what I have for you today. I hope that you will please, when you like the video, it's not because you're like, oh, I like this topic. It's just like the video to boost it into the algorithm so that it can be shared. Okay, like and share so that others will see it as well. Let's spread the information far and wide. I'm also going to be tweeting about it, so if you don't follow me yet, follow me there. My handle is @TrueCrimeGizzler. So I'll see you over there on Twitter, sharing as much as I can about this as well, and all the numbers to call. I think it's a very hectic case, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about it. I'm sure there'll be many more documents and all kinds of things, and maybe even a trial at some point, right? So, yes, if the victim is watching, I really hope that she'll know we are also proud of her, and we've got her back, and she did the absolute right thing, and that will to survive, you know, to just fight and fight and fight and fight and get through that cell that he built, to get through that door that you couldn't unlock from the inside, and then run outside, grab his gun, flag someone down, and still get back in that police car and have to go back. That's always the worst when I hear that they have to do that. Of course, they have to point out the house. Do you know how traumatizing that must be, though? You've just escaped. Now the police are like, okay, get in the car. We're gonna drive there and you're gonna show us which house. That must be so traumatizing. So I hope that she'll be okay. I know they said she's physically okay. I've seen some pictures on Facebook. I'm not going to show you here. They're very distressing. But if you go on Facebook and you search for his name, you might see what appears to be the victim's pictures on there. Shame. Absolutely terrible. Thank you so much, mods. I really, really appreciate it. I know this was a very last minute, very late night one. I mean, it's already, it's 2:30 in the morning for me, you guys. So, whoops. I'm gonna go sleep now. Yes, Paul Senior, you see, you're telling me. So, it is time to sleep now. I was just busy with this, for most of the evening. I was looking at all of this and like, what? I couldn't believe it. It scares me, So I hope that you guys are okay. Thank you, mods. Thank you to all the patrons, members, everyone that supports the channel. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you very soon again. Make sure you are subscribed with the bell on so you don't miss out, because you see, I go live at random times. You just never know. Whenever I'm ready, I've got everything collected for you. I'm always working on stuff for you. And if you ever wonder where I am, check out Patreon, check out Twitter, check out the members only streams. Always there. There we go. Peter Pronzo says, rest, G. When Sonny doesn't tell me to go to bed, then Lieutenant Peter Pronzo tells me to rest. Okay, everyone. I will see you very soon again. Stay safe.